My presentation, Money in the Shadows, is about how corporations hide wealth offshore and exploit global legal gaps. Before we dive deeper, let me quickly introduce myself and explain why I chose this topic. Hi, my name is Sage Wetzel and I'm majoring in criminal justice at the Bloomsburg campus. My end goal is to be a lawyer and I enjoy bankruptcy, patent, and estate law the most. I chose this topic because I want to better understand how financial crime works across borders. I think it's fascinating how tools designed to make trade and technology more efficient are also exploited by criminals. Studying this topic gives me insight into the challenges investigators face when money can move internationally with just a click. I see this as directly connected to my career goals because learning about how global systems influence crime will help me approach future investigations or legal work with a broader perspective. This presentation is set up to walk through money laundering like a chain reaction. First, we'll look at the system that allows hidden money to exist in the first place. Then we'll trace how these tools show up in the real world. From there, we'll zoom out to the global level where policies are patched and accountability often falls short. With that bigger picture in mind, let's start at the beginning. The first step in understanding money laundering is recognizing the tools of secrecy. These aren't just shady backroom tricks, they're legal structures and financial instruments built into the global system. Shell companies, offshore accounts, and complex ownership layers create the shadows where dirty money can hide. At its core, money laundering is the process of taking money gained from illegal activity and making it look like it came from a legitimate source. Placement is getting the illegal money into the financial system, like depositing cash into banks or buying assets. Layering is moving it around through complicated transactions, offshore accounts, or shell companies to make it harder to trace. Integration is bringing the cleaned money back into the economy as if it's legitimate, like investing in real estate, businesses, or luxury goods. Every big laundering scheme, whether it's through corporations, digital payments, or offshore tax havens, is built around these three stages. Now that we know what money laundering is, let's see how they appear in the real world. This section highlights cases where the hidden wealth was exposed from investigative reports to leaked documents, showing just how complex and widespread these schemes can be. By examining these examples, we can see how secrecy isn't just theoretical. It has concrete effects, influencing everything from global to finance to public trust. Let's start with some of the most famous revelations that shook the world. In August of 2023, authorities uncovered a massive money laundering operation involving approximately $2.2 billion in illicit assets. This operation was orchestrated by a network of 10 foreign nationals, primarily from China, who utilized Singapore's financial systems to launder proceeds from illegal activities, including illicit gambling. Authorities seized a wide array of assets, including luxury vehicles, high-end watches, gold bars, and designer handbags. These items were later handed over to Deloitte for liquidation. Deloitte is one of the Big Four professional services firms. All 10 individuals involved were arrested and convicted. Sentences ranged from 13 to 17 months in prison, with substantial asset forfeitures. For instance, Su Jiangfeng forfeited nearly $139.4 million, marking one of the largest individual assets forfeitures in Singapore's legal history. In a significant development in November 2024, 15 of the 17 fugitives involved agreed to surrender assets worth approximately $1.44 billion, bringing the total value of assets surrendered to nearly $2.18 billion. These individuals were also banned from re-entering Singapore. The Monetary Authority of Singapore imposed $21.4 million in penalties on 9 financial institutions, including Union Bank of Switzerland, United Overseas Bank, and Citibank, for breaches in anti-money laundering requirements related to this case. The case underscores the vulnerabilities with global financial systems and highlights the critical need for robust anti-money laundering measures. It also serves as a reminder of the importance of transparency and accountability in financial institutions to prevent such illicit activities. After a real-world example of money laundering and the huge sums involved, it's important to understand the legal challenges behind stopping it. Money doesn't respect borders, and neither do criminals. In this section, we'll explore how different countries' laws, enforcement practices, and regulatory gaps create a complex game of jurisdictions. Criminals exploit these differences to have more money moving from across border, often faster than authorities can respond to. Understanding these challenges is key to seeing why global coordination is so critical. Each country has its own definition of money laundering and legal thresholds. Some countries have strong anti-money laundering laws, while others have a weak or outdated law. Some nations require banks to report suspicious transactions, while others have no such requirement. Even when laws exist, enforcement varies widely. Some countries have dedicated financial units that actively investigate suspicious transactions. Others lack resources or political will, so cases may be ignored or investigated slowly. country might have strong laws on paper, but authorities rarely prosecute cases. Criminals exploit inconsistencies between countries. Some examples of the gaps are offshore tax havens with minimal reporting requirements, shell companies that hide beneficial ownership, and weak cross-border corporations, making it hard to trace money internationally. Essentially, money can move from a country with strict regulations to one with lax oversight in hours, bypassing enforcement. Let's look at how authorities are trying to stop these criminals. This section focuses on the policies, regulations, and international initiatives designed to fix the leaks in the financial system. From anti-money laundering measures to global corporation agreements, these efforts aim to make it harder for illicit money to move undetected. We'll also see that while progress has been made, challenges remain. Criminals constantly adapt to find loopholes, so the fight is ongoing. Anti-money laundering, or AML, are rules that require banks and financial institutions to monitor transactions, report suspicious activity, and keep detailed records. At the international level, organizations like the Financial Action Task Force, or FATF, set global standards and evaluate countries' compliance with anti-money laundering measures. Countries have also introduced stronger transparency and reporting requirements, such as publicly disclosing the beneficial owners of companies, making it harder to hide money beyond the shell companies. Cross-border cooperation is critical. Law enforcement agencies share intelligence, freeze assets, and coordinate investigations to track illicit funds moving internationally. While these measures have had successes, it's an ongoing challenge because criminals are always adapting, which is why continuous vigilance and coordination are essential. This matters to everyone, not just banks or governments. Even in the United States, illicit money can affect our economy, communities, and trust in financial systems. This section will show why accountability and vigilance are critical in a globalized world. Money laundering affects us all by fueling organized crime and corruption. It destabilizes societies and erodes trust in financial systems. It also distorts economies, inflating property markets, increasing the cost of goods, and creating an unfair advantage for those who hide illicit funds. For us in the United States, this is more than an abstract problem. Laundered money can enter our markets through real estate, inflating housing prices, and making it harder for families to buy homes. It can also flow through banks and investments, creating unfair advantages and financial risks. At a community level, it can indirectly fund crime. And on a national scale, it can even threaten security by providing resources to dangerous actors. That's why this is a fight that affects everyone and not just policymakers in other countries. This is why accountability, transparency, and vigilance aren't optional. They're essential for protecting the integrity of both the global and the United States financial systems. As we've seen, money laundering is more than a shadowy financial crime. It's a global problem that reaches every corner of the world, including our own communities. From hidden assets to loopholes in international law, the fight against illicit money is ongoing and ever evolving. What matters most is awareness and accountability. By understanding how these systems work and why they're exploited, we're better equipped to support transparency, strong regulations, and ethical practices.